Well, some excellent personal news, which is that I actually won a bet on the boxing last night, and it's been quite a long time coming, as regular subscribers may appreciate. But I won a bet on the Dereck Chisora versus Marcelo Nascimento fight. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't do a video suggesting this bet because I only stumbled across it an hour or two before the fight, and I didn't have time. I was, watching the boxing, etc. But if you check my Twitter, which is just @BoxingGossip, you can see that I tweeted it out before the fight begun. But regardless of that, I was scrolling through Betfair, which is my betting site of choice, and stumbled across Dereck Chisora versus Marcelo Nascimento odds on the sportsbook section of their site, not the exchange. Now, Dereck Chisora was 1 to 500 on to win this fight. In other words, you had to place £500 to win a single pound. He was 9 to 1 to win the fight by points. Now, if you work that out, if he's 1 to 500 to win the fight, which suggests he's got a 99.9999% chance of winning the fight, and if he's 9 to 1 to win on points, which suggests he's got a 10% chance of winning on points, then logically we're saying that the bookmakers rate him at 89.9% to win this fight by KO. Now, for me, that felt slightly off, and I capitalised on that, and I bet on Dereck Chisora to win by points. Now, I'd admit that I didn't really feel safe with my bet until the final bell rung, but I had quite a few quid on him at 9 to 1 to win on points, so it was a big relief when the fight was over. But the reason I went for the bet was because I actually had the misfortune of attending a previous Dereck Chisora fight, which was, in fact, I've been to more than one Dereck Chisora fight, but the one I'm referring to specifically is Dereck Chisora versus Hector Avila, which was on the undercard of Cleverly versus Krasniqi at Wembley Arena. And let me tell you, that fight was terrible from Chisora. He came in overweight, he was very slow, low volume, he got tired early, undermotivated, and he actually stopped Avila in that fight, I think in the 9th round, but he gave me hope that a guy like Nascimento would be able to survive a few rounds. Also, Nascimento, don't get me wrong, he's not the greatest journeyman out there. He got stopped by Dillian Whyte in a few rounds. There's a few other early KO losses, but he recently went the distance with Eddie Chambers. I think he'd gone 7 with Joseph Parker. There was some element of durability to his game, so I just felt there was a slight angle there and bet on Chisora to win on points at 9 to 1. Now, whilst I was relieved at winning the bet, and whilst I've got some happy emotion about that, I've got to come on here and be very, very critical about Dereck Chisora. The Dereck Chisora weight issue is not overly complex. For me, it's a fairly obvious issue. If he comes in like he did last night, weighing 260 pounds, he produces performances like that. If he comes in the 17 stones, he produces performances like when he beat Kevin Johnson, or when he beat the heavyweight he beat, who lost to Michael Sprott from Germany. I forget the guy's name now. But, we know that Dereck Chisora is a much more efficient and effective animal when he comes in a stone lighter than what he did last night. When he comes in the mid-18 stones, he's sluggish, he's slow, he's predictable, and he's got low stamina. Anyway, so the performance was very, very poor. And Nascimento had some times where I thought he was doing really well in the fight. I mean, Nascimento is not very technically refined. He was very open defensively, but he was able to dance around Dereck. He was able to pump the jab from range, and he really was, at times, outboxing Dereck Chisora. Now, Chisora had Nascimento hurt once or twice, but was too gassed to finish the job, and his punches were so predictable. He's throwing overhand hooks from the back of the stadium. They were very, very telegraphed, very slow. And Nascimento, who's a low to middle level journeyman, was simply able to kind of roll and ride his shots, which was, a bit embarrassing for a fighter like Dereck Chisora. It was a woeful performance, and based on the effectiveness that Nascimento had against Dereck Chisora, I'd be fairly confident that a guy who can jab and move and is a bit more technically refined would have easy work with Dereck Chisora. So right now, I would certainly, without any doubt, pick Hughie Fury over Dereck Chisora just based on that performance. I think Hughie Fury would be able to box rings around him, especially if he fights that slow and predictably. You know, the fight itself was really dull to watch, and I think I was the only person on the planet hoping that it went the distance, because I know everyone else was desperate to get onto the main event and cease the agony of this fight. Really, Dereck needs to get himself in shape. He needs to come in half a stone lighter, and I think we're going to see him more motivated against a better quality of opposition. You know, Nascimento was never going to give him trouble, and I think that was one of the reasons we saw him so undermotivated and so overweight. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Dereck's really going to need to step it up a level if he wants to have another crack at a big fight in the heavyweight division.